Hello. Hi. Just check everything's alright. Yeah, audio seems to be fine. Alright, so we'll get straight into a question. Hello. Good evening if you're on my side of the world. Good afternoon if you're on yours. Going into game week 3. First question, will Dean play? First, I hope so. You can see that he is still on mine. I didn't think he was going to. A lot of people, I think, were just freaking out a little bit, especially with a lot of people playing wildcards. They thought that are they going to have to take him out because they didn't want to have to sub him out later. But a lot of people who were like actually there or watched the game said that he was signaling more that he was tired. Even Marco Silva said that he thought he was tired, not that he'd like ripped his hamstring or anything. But is he going to start? I don't know, because I don't know how adventurous he is. I don't think he's gonna do it. But yep. Hi, Roos Booster. Oh, good afternoon to you as well. Drinking a coffee from a flowery cup today. But I'm hoping he's going to play. I think he is going to play. Will Son start? I hope he doesn't. But again, it's the same situation because with Son, he's not been injured. Hey, Kirby. So he's not been injured. He's just been banned, right? So he should start, but I'm not too sure he is because of match fitness, right? This is going to be everyone's third game, but it's Newcastle. I don't think he's that worried about his fitness because, like I said, he's not coming back from an injury, Son. He's coming back from a ban. Mora got subbed, though, because of his... it was a more defensive approach, right? Because Sissoko played instead of Mora on the wing. So they're not going to be defensive against Newcastle. But I think if there's going to be a change, I can see Mora and Son actually both starting. But I saw some interesting stats as well, so I always check Twitter all the time and have a look on all the news and facts. And I even did a little bit about today in regards to Kane only scoring, I think I said it was 2 goals in 8 games that he's got. Let me find that tweet I made earlier. But an interesting stat is actually... Kane scores fractionally fewer than Kane scores fewer with Son than without Son. But barely a difference. A lot of people are worried that if Son comes back in the side, Harry Kane will be too deep. But that's actually not true because he almost scores exactly the same. But the one that I found about Harry Kane today... see if I find it. Harry Kane has scored 2 goals with 0 assists in 7 fixtures against Newcastle, and in 6 of those games, Harry Kane played a full 90 minutes. So you can see along the bottom, I've asked the question: is Kane captain? Is he captain worthy? I'm not too sure if he is, to be honest. Steve, does the wildcard carry over if you don't use it? No. If you've activated it and you've done nothing with it, it's gone. So it's not like, oh, you didn't make any transfers, here, have it back. If you've activated, it's gone. Son or Rashford? Personally, I would go Rashford this week. I know they're both good fixtures, but I said I'm going to play a bit boring this year, a little bit more safe. And Son, for me, is going to be a great player, but... if he's going to play, it's his first week back, so he might just be lacking a fraction of match sharpness. And I want a nailed on. Like, we're asking, is Son going to play? Rashford is going to play. Unless he's got an injury, Rashford will play against Crystal Palace. And it's Crystal Palace. I don't want to disrespect anyone's favourite teams, but, you've got Crystal Palace at home, you should beat them, and he's nailed on. But to be honest, Son or Rashford, so you've still not made your transfers yet. If you're wildcarding, I'd say Son because it's long term. If it's for this game week, you're asking Son or Rashford, I would say Rashford because he's definitely going to play. We don't know 100% if Son's going to play or not. Can Pukki continue his form against Chelsea in the rest of the season? It's too early to say, and it's a reason why I didn't wildcard. Because it's too early to suggest something like Pukki. I mean, if I remember correctly as well, a pretty interesting stat. Ashley Barnes, and a lot of people are sleeping on Barnes because of Pukki, So Barnes, a lot of people, I can imagine a lot of people going from Pookie to Barnes in the next few weeks when Burnley have a good run of fixtures, because isn't he like the third biggest goal scorer of 2019 behind Sterling and Salah? Or Mane? Is it Mane and Salah? But I'm pretty sure that actually Barnes has scored. I'll have to re-find that fact out, but something like, or his conversion rate is like the third best. He's like one of the deadliest, most clinical finishers in the Premier League, and we just sleep on it because it's Burnley. I myself have that horrible attitude of, and I shouldn't when I'm doing FPL, but having that horrible attitude of thinking, oh, do I want him leading my line kind of thing. But somehow, if they don't, my immediate plan after this game week, because you can see Sigurdsson still on the side. This is it. I'm being patient. I couldn't be any more patient with Perez because I wanted De Bruyne, and Pookie came with that package deal with De Bruyne because Fraser, Wilson, Perez out for De Bruyne, Pookie, Ceballos. A lot of people made that transfer. I think I made it on Sunday night because if I didn't, I would have been priced out of it. So a lot of people have made. I believe the Always Cheating, one of the lads from that podcast, which is a really good podcast, by the way, I definitely would suggest you guys listen to that, made the exact same transfers as I did, like 24 hours later. So I've been patient enough with Siggy. I'm keeping it in, but my future plan would be Siggy down to Martial and then Jota to Ashley Barnes. But I'm not going to take another -4 next week, but hopefully Barnes won't go up too high. But I can see a lot of people. So can Pookie continue his form? It's too early to tell. I think he can do it against Chelsea. They'll shake it at the back. The week after they've got West Ham, but then Man City, I'm not expecting anything from Pookie in that one. Don't like that stat about Kane. It's an awful stat. I don't know why, but some people just have Newcastle down as Tottenham's bogey team. So you've got De Bruyne as captain. Funnily enough, on the stat tracker, the points projection thing that the computer uses, all the stats and the bookies odds and stuff like that, has De Bruyne been like the 11th biggest scorer of game week 1. So it's, if I remember it right, if it's Sterling, I'll just double check this. Sterling's number 1. Sterling's number 1, followed by Salah and Kane, Mane, Martial, they're all up there. But Jimenez, Doherty at Wolves is projected to get a higher score than Kevin De Bruyne this game week. So it just goes to prove that you cannot play football on paper. You can't do money ball in this situation, because if Doherty gets more points than Kevin De Bruyne, then I'm going to be absolutely astounded. Draft League question, will Morpay or Chicharito have a better chance? Chicharito, I believe, was only in because Haller was injured last week, so I think it's going to be a straight swap. He didn't risk Haller last week, so I don't even... And Morpay, we thought he was going to start game week 1, he didn't. He got about, 20 minutes? And then game week 2, he got 20 minutes again. So I think, Kirby, I think I have a big problem with those two players because I'm not too sure any of them are going to play more than 25. If I had to take a punt, I'd go Morpay over Chicharito. Oh, Walker or King. So would that knock you to a 4-5-1 if you did Walker over King? Would that if that leaves you on up front, I'd always go the attacker, especially if they get a penalty and then King takes that penalty. I'd be kicking myself more if I played a defender. If I played a defender over an attacker and the attacker scores, I'll be more annoyed than if I played a defender and he didn't get a clean sheet, because it's teams usually concede, right? So I would lean towards King over Walker myself. If that puts you at 5 at the back, I'm all 4-5 at the back. I was singing its praises. If I'd have gone 5 at the back game week 1, I'd have got a higher score because I'd double Everton, double Liverpool defence, and I would have had Van Dijk and TAA in my first draft. Or was it Robertson? But yeah, I'd go King over Walker. What is the position of Lundstram on the actual pitch? Isn't he a CDM? And again, he finished 90 minutes. A lot of people are singing Lundstram's praises and putting him in their starting 11. And I've still got a side with the Sheffield United fans. I know he's done great in the first 2 game weeks, but they've not signed the likes of Besic for fun. Like, people thought he was going to get released, and now it's great. Maybe he's in a purple patch and he's awesome. But people in their wildcard teams or people in general putting them in their first 11 when they're at home to Leicester. I don't rate it, but he's a CDM and he was great. He took his goal well, and huge points, and he would definitely be sitting on my bench. But I don't see why people are actually sacrificing. People are like playing like 3 at the back with Lundstrom and like 2 4 million defenders. So as soon as Lundstrom's out, they're going to be stuck playing with 10 men. So I definitely wouldn't do that. If I'm doing a wild card, I definitely on a wild card squad, you must have like 2 subs that play, because right now you can see I've got Diop and I've got Rico on the bench. Greenwood might play like 1 minute, Rico plays 0, but I've got Diop who's going to play. But if I'm doing a wild card team, you need to have subs for that depth to last you until the next wild card. Zinchenko King again. I've got to go with the striker more than. If you've got Wilson, I'm not even kidding. I think Wilson's going to score this weekend. Fraser Wilson combo. Maybe it's just my negative ways because. I've got rid of Wilson, I've got rid of Fraser, I've got rid of Perez. Wilson was going to be my one striker all season. I was going to keep him, but he's just done nothing. He's not even had shots in the first couple of games, so it's not that, I'm thinking, Bournemouth are terrible. There's no underlying stats. It's the same with Perez. I really wanted to give him one more chance away to Sheffield United. But he's not shown me a glimpse. Like Jamie Vardy's got in the right positions. I can understand why people are definitely going to stick with Vardy or Maddison. But I don't understand. I can't stay with Perez. But I do think Wilson's going to get a goal. 5-3-2, Steve. Always remember, from your defenders, you want clean sheets and attacking things. The reason why I like Robertson and Tia and the 7 million, because they do have that additional attacking threat. But the likes of Zinchenko, he might get you an assist, but you want clean sheets. I get it's always up to you guys. Always play the way that you want to play. I personally wouldn't go 5 at the back. So you usually do 4-3-3, Steve? Is that what your team is? Who'd start with, Wilson or Ings? Wilson. Ings came on as sub, didn't he? Against, I know he scored against Liverpool. He might start, but an 8 million man, or is Ings 6 million? Wilson is 8 million for a reason. I always assume that a player that plays against Man City is going to blank. Same if someone goes to Liverpool away. I think they're going to blank. But I just have a feeling that Wilson's going to do something this weekend. They've got to wake up, Bournemouth. They've been really poor in the first 2 games. Thoughts on Eriksen? If he stays, I'd keep him. But he's the only player that's 9 million, isn't it? But personally, I've never felt Eriksen as a top quality FPL pick. You can go 9.5, you can go to Son, you can go to De Bruyne, or you can go down to Martial. 9 million's that awful area. Captaincy is Sterling or Salah. What I'm doing again this year, the captain's decision is the most important decision that you make every week. It's double points. It's your double point chip card you play every single week. And for me this season, last season I said I kept, for content and stuff, I would be more stupid and make more crazy risks and loads of transfer hits. This season I need to prove myself and say, guys, I'm not that bad and I want to do well. And I'm just going to go with bookies odds this season for captaincy. Sterling in red hot form, going away to a shaky, big chance conceding Bournemouth side. I think Liverpool's going to win. I think Salah could score, but I have more of a belief in Sterling scoring over Salah. So Sterling's my captain this week. And Ndombele is out. That's incredible. I didn't know he was out. There you go. I even went to the news desk because you said that. Look at that. Behind the desk now. It wasn't worth it. Rashford and Dunk or Wan-Bissaka and Barnes? Barnes has got Wolves at home. Barnes is in good form. He scored against Arsenal last week, but Duncan Southampton, isn't it? Rashford's got Palace. I'd go Rashford because even if he blanks, I still think he's going to rise. And then you can make a little bit of money on your mistake. I know Wan-Bissaka might rise as well, but if they concede, he won't. But Barnes will rise slower than Rashford because unless Barnes bags a hat-trick and then you're screwed. But if anyone bags a hat-trick in this crazy start to the season, if anyone bangs, everyone buys them in. I mean, look at Eric. It's Eric Peters, right? The Burnley fullback. He's gone up in price because he got one great game week. He got 1 point last week, and Burnley's fixtures are awful. So let me catch up on these. Current lineup is 5-3-2. Ditch Perez to the bench. Rooster Booster. I really would. I'm kind of jealous you got Perez. There is a feeling inside me that Perez might get. He's either going to get benched or Rodgers is going to stick him up front because they looked better when Old Brighton played. More dangerous right at the end of the game. Ings is 6 million. Yeah, I thought so. I'd play Wilson over Ings. Because, again, being boring, Wilson is going to play tomorrow unless he's sick or picks up an injury. Ings either will start because he scored against Liverpool or will be back on the bench. I don't like that 50-50 choice. Normally 4-3-3, you put Walker in, took King out, that put you 5 at the back. I just don't know. You could make a really good 4-3-3 team though. You can. We'll have a look at one later. We'll design a little cheeky 4-3-3 later. But just put like Sterling, Salah, or Mane, Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, and you can make a real nice 4-3-3. You have Kevin De Bruyne and Eriksen. Do you have Salah or Sterling, Marcus? That's a question. I'll try and remember that. Do I think Watford's will Watford's performances improve? Or it's got to, or they're going to be trouble. I wouldn't personally touch any Watford assets right now. I don't like it. Do you think Lundström's an attacking midfielder? Let me just have a double check on Lundström to see whereabouts he was playing in that Palace game. Just wait for that to load. And I'll come back in here and check. Who to bench? Lundström, Dendoncker or King? People don't believe in Bournemouth this week. I don't blame you for not believing in Bournemouth. Dendoncker has got Burnley away. Lundström, I can't see Sheffield United not conceding. I know they're solid at the back and they've got these nice overlapping defenders, but I can't see them not conceding against Jamie Vardy and James Maddison and Tielemans. I just can't. I think Leicester. I have a horrible feeling because I've transferred them out of my team that Bournemouth and Leicester are going to rock it this weekend. Oh, right, but be honest about Lundström and Perez. I mean, I played Perez. He's blanked for me. But about Lundström, there is no way people said at the start of game week 1 or game week 2, Lundström's going to be the top scorer of the week behind Pukki. If we'd have been having this discussion 2 weeks ago, saying that Lundström and Pukki are going to be leading the way in FPL, you'd have unsubscribed and deleted every trace you've ever seen of me because you'd have thought I was insane. Vardy a good option. They've got good 2 fixtures against Bournemouth. Well, first Sheffield United, then Bournemouth. So I think he's a good choice. He's always deadly, isn't he, Jamie Vardy? He'll get there. You've got Kane, Rashford and Jota. Jota's been really disappointing me in the Premier League at the minute. Great in Europe, which is fantastic, but I mean, sod all for FPL. But so many people started Lundström. I don't know. Lundström or Cantwell. I'd go Lundström over Cantwell because they've got Norwich, have got Chelsea, and Cantwell's going to be coming up against the likes of Kante, and I don't know. Not feeling that. Is Adrian a good idea on a wild card? Obviously, I have to swap him out eventually. Well, Liverpool's got Arsenal, so can he keep out Aubameyang and Lacazette? That's the first question. I think there are some keepers with better fixtures than Liverpool. But is it a good start? Yeah, it's a good start. Just make sure you get him out before obviously Alisson comes back. But a lot of people are getting Alisson in on a wild card now because his price has gone down, hasn't it? So you get him for like 0.1, 0.2 million cheaper. When do you think you should play the wild card? Play it now. No, I'm joking. Please don't. Please don't do that now. I don't want to sound like a politician, but you just got to play it when it's best for you. Because everyone's in different stages. I've seen people saying, I've gone blurry. I've seen a lot of people thinking about, I want a wild card. Should I wild card? Look at my team. And I look at the team and I think, everyone needs wild card into that team. So save it. So it completely depends on your team. If you've got triple Bournemouth, you got triple Bournemouth, triple Liverpool defence, stuff like that, I would have said probably wildcard before. But if you've got Sterling or Salah or Mane or two of the three, and you've got you've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got one Liverpool defender, you've got Pookie, then you probably don't need to wildcard. Where was I? Answer that one. Very good option. Already talked about that. No. No Sterling, Salah or Mane, but you do have a Aubameyang. You play 5 at the back. Oh, I was so into 5 at the back at the start of the season. I bottled it. I even was going to go 4 at the back. I went, Jota or Virgil van Dijk. I was like, all right, well, I'll play Jota. I don't like playing one up front. It's too dangerous when you've got 2 4.5 attackers. I'll give him a check. Two matches. Give him a chance. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Lundstram or Dunk. I'd go Dunk. I've got Dunk. I'd go Dunk at home to Southampton. But I think both of them are going to concede. So, stuff it. Go with Lundstram then. But I think Brighton will concede. And I think Sheffield United will concede. I already spoke about Watford. No, I'm not touching Watford. I don't know if the performances will improve. They've been really disappointing. Use a triple captain. If yes, Kane or Sterling. Now, I got a little bit of stick for playing my triple captain in game week 1, but I wanted Salah at home to Norwich, and he got a goal and assist, so that's actually a really good return for your triple captain. But would I play my triple captain for Sterling away at Bournemouth, first of all? No. Would I play Kane at home to Newcastle? Again, no. Kane is... I know it's stupid because he gets good scores, right? But Kane is, for me, too inconsistent or unpredictable. Think of last season when everyone played a triple captain or brought in Kane for that Cardiff game. It looked nailed on. He thought it was a good form, and he blanked. And for me... Salah and Sterling are consistent through the entire season, and unless you get an unlucky blank week like Salah did last week, if you triple captain them at a good fixture, they'll probably return something, like an assist at the least. Kane will not get assists, and he'll either score 3 goals or score 0. So I wouldn't captain Sterling away to Bournemouth. I think there are more favourable fixtures, but I just wouldn't triple captain Kane because I'm a coward. With Ndombele out, that's Mora to start or Son. They're 2 different positions. Well, they're trying to get rid of Wanyama, so wouldn't Eric Dyer play? Or is Dyer injured? Let's just... I just want to check Spurs' squad and their injury list, because I don't think he's injured. No, they're different positions, though, and Ndombele had come out and surely Skip... Winks, Dyer would come in, not Son, because Son's like a winger or a forward, isn't he? Let's go with that. Firmino good enough. Liverpool coverage. If you've got one of the other two, yes. I like Firmino. He doesn't return enough for 9.5 million though, but he's got amazing stats against Arsenal, and I think he usually scores first as well. So that'll make you feel comfortable for the rest of the game. But if you've got Mane and Firmino, then I think that's fine. But for 9.5 million right now, when you've got the likes of a 6.7 million Pookie banging in the goals, it's difficult to stretch 9.5. I mean, it did score, so. I personally like Firmino, and you are getting one of the three. I know he plays a little bit behind, but I don't think Firmino's a bad option if you've got another. I wouldn't have Firmino out of Mane, Salah, Firmino. Keep faith in Pulisic. I would for this week because they've got Norwich. And Norwich are attacking. You know, if Norwich are going to lose, they're probably going to lose, 3-2 or 5-3 or something like that. But Pulisic, he gets subbed quite often, doesn't he? Luke, yes, you do get 2 wildcards in the season, but not together. Your first wildcard's at the start of the season, and then that expires like January 1st when the window opens, and then your second wildcard. So if you don't use the first wildcard, it expires like an old coupon. Any plan for getting Son? Yes. Probably my wildcard team, but obviously this depends. Hopefully I'm not going to wildcard for another 2 weeks or so, minimum. So in those 2 weeks I'll be looking at Son. And if his price he gets a hat-trick against Newcastle, and then next game week he gets, 2 goals and his price goes, then I'll wildcard him in straight away. Far better. Thank you for preferring this over test match cricket. I mean, I love cricket. I was up at 4 a.m. watching them in the one-day final, screaming my head off at Ben Stokes, but test cricket, even the Ashes, can be a absolute slug. You have Sigurdsson. I know who that is. Sigurdsson. And he went down 0.1. What should I do? Nothing. If you've made your transfers, nothing. Don't take the hit now. Play him tonight, I'd say. Speaking of 0.1, right? So I had Fraser. 0.1 went down, got him out. Wilson, is he still 8? I think Wilson's still 8. But Perez, I just got him out. His price has got down. Sigurdsson, his price has gone down. I've had an absolute nightmare when it comes to prices. But 0.1 million is going to be pointless because now, yes, you can't replace him with another 8 million. But you wouldn't anyway. Like, my move, as soon as the Everton game's done and Sigurdsson has absolutely stuffed it and he's got 1 point, he's out for tomorrow morning. So you can see, if we just go back to the normal live scene, you can see at the top it says my deadline is, because where I live in Taiwan, my deadline is 2 a.m. my time. And it's currently 8:32 p.m. where I am right now. So as soon as that closes, the Everton game comes on. I'll go to bed. I'll wake up. I'll watch the game kind of live. I'll wake up and I'll put the match on and watch the 90 minutes, but not check Twitter or anything like that. And then if I see that Sigurdsson has done absolutely sod all, I will be making that transfer on Saturday because there's no way I'm going to pay any more for Martial. If Sigurdsson's down at 7.9, and I think Martial, is he 7.7? Let's just check this. Martial is 7.7. There's no way I'm waiting till Tuesday or Wednesday when I already know what my move's going to be just for the one player. So if Sigurdsson busts, he is my one transfer out this week, straight off the bat. And if there's an injury, I'll wildcard or I'll take another -4 because if Sigurdsson blanks now, everyone's going to be kicking him out of the team. There's only so many weeks you can give someone before it's like, right, that is it. What about Son? Yep, talked a lot about him. I put him in my wild card if he does well. Son, you could. That's a Leicester one or Luncheon for game week 3. Sheffield United for me is not full of goals, but Leicester's away from home. Leicester's a better team. Tough call. 2 players in the same game, both who I arguably might not. I don't think this will be a high scoring game, but I do see both sides conceding. George, that's a really tough question. Who would I actually play if I had him in my side right now? I'd probably go for the Leicester man. Because they're a better team. Oh, Marcus, don't ask me Bolton questions now. I'll burst into tears. David Lee would be my choice. David Lee and the academy man who's there right now, Mr. Bolton, that's Jimmy Phillips. Because they know the lads. Our first team is basically our under-18s team, and he knows them. He's been their manager in the youth leagues. There's no point in us bringing a manager right now. We can't sign anyone. We don't have any money. We don't have any owners. We're probably going to get... Well, we could get kicked out of the league. So there's no point in trying to get a really good manager or anything. Bristol City's assistant, that's Holden. That's our ex-player, that. You've got a second team that you've used to gauge some other players and wildcard this week. Ryan, I'm sorry, Ndidi. But that's still not too bad. Brewster Boost, I think that's a decent team. But yeah, that's almost like wildcard-esque team, that easy. Son or De Bruyne on a wildcard. If you're doing it right now, Ian, I think that's how you spell it. That's the Irish way to spell Ian, right? Son or De Bruyne on a wildcard. Right now, this second, Kevin De Bruyne, because we don't know if Heung-min Son's going to play or anything yet. Triple Caps to Sterling. Mentioned this before. No, I wouldn't use it this week. Not because it's a single game week. I've already used mine in a single game week. I just wouldn't do it for a City game away from home. I'd do a City home game or a Liverpool home game. Geoffrey Archer got 6 wickets yesterday, didn't he? When we got him all out. Wednesday's international break. This is game week 3. Game week 4, international break. Predictions for price rises. Manchester United. And whoever scores. Because for most of the season it's like that. But for most of the season, for the start of the season when like all 6.3 million managers are still playing, everyone just jumps on whoever like scores a hat-trick or whatever. But United assets will keep going up. Even though they're at home to Palace and they should win that comfortably, if they do win that comfortably, I would suggest all the likely lads at United, your Wan-Bissaka, your Martial, your Rashford, your Pogbas, they'll all go up. If Pookie scores again, Pookie will go up. Do you still get free transfers? Yep, it's the same situation. It's just a longer gap. Price rises and drops don't depend on form. It depends on player transfers. Us transferring in and out. So for example, Salah is crazily the most transferred out player in FPL this week, but his price hasn't changed because so many people owned him at the start that even though I think it was 250,000 people sold Mohamed Salah this week, that his price doesn't go down because so many people own him. But if there's a player where 10 people own him and one person sells him, the price will go down by like 0.1. Who am I getting rid of for Son? I would go Sigurdsson, Son, and then maybe downgrade Robert. It'd be a massive jiggle up for me to put Son in here, but I would do it. Actually, I have the picture, but this was pre-price rise. My midfield would be De Bruyne, Sterling, Mane, Ceballos, and Son. That would be my midfield. Pookie, Jota still up front with Greenwood, and it'd be Dunk, Lundstram, Dean, Van Dijk, and Diop with Ryan and Button still in goal. But Lundstram's gone up 0.1 now, so I'd have to put a 4 million defender in there. So just to show you, I'd already done that idea and saved it on my phone. Right now you've got King. Who would I play? King, Dundonkel. Again, we talked about this earlier, mate. I'd still play the striker over the defender. Pochettino said Ndombele has a minor injury. Yeah, I think we covered that earlier when I went to breaking news. But again, to be honest, and a lot of people wildcarded Ndombele in as their 4th or 5th midfielder in a 5-man midfield. But I don't think he's been lucky with what he's got so far, but it's not in his arsenal to be such a goal or assist machine. keeping faith in Wilson. I would have. I didn't get rid of him because I think he's going to be a terrible player all season. It's just Wilson had to go to give me the funds for Pukki, De Bruyne, Ceballos transfer I made this week. What do I think of Sterling, Salah, Martial, De Bruyne, centre? I think that's a really strong midfield. Is that a four-man midfield with like Dendoncker or Cantwell on the bench? But yeah, they're the four like biggest scorers right now. Live stream whilst watching the Everton game. I'll be asleep, Marcus, whilst the Everton game's on. It starts at like 3 or 4 a.m. my time. So that's what I mean. I'll wake up and then I'll turn my computer and I'll watch the game. Like, I'll rewind the TV and watch it. Best 4 million independent apart from Lundstrom. Oh, thanks, George. Best 4 million defender. To be honest, I don't think there is a good 4 million defender. Like, apart from Lundstrom. And you got Kelly, right? Kelly's still 4 million. There isn't a good 4 million. You can see I've put it on the screen here now. You've got Kelly. But Kelly's going to lose his place when Sacco and Cahill get to match fitness. So if you got a 4 million defender, put him as your third sub because they're never going to play. But if I had to choose, I'd go Kelly because he has played. So there is always a chance someone gets injured and he plays again. But I couldn't suggest a 4 million apart from Kelly. Kante is injured. Captain Pukki. Is he? Why have I missed some of these? It's not on FPL that he's injured. Or is this just come out in the press conference? I didn't know Kante picked up an injury. Captain Pukki? No, I wouldn't Captain Pukki. Even against a Kante-less Chelsea, I wouldn't do it. There's just too many good options out there. Even Salah at home to Arsenal has me more. Like, I got overtaken in my mini league by a friend of mine who doesn't have Salah, doesn't have Sterling, he doesn't have anyone like that, and he captained Pukki and he overtook me in the mini league. Mental. Like, but that happens. Him getting an hat trick happens once a season, tops, right? So I won't captain Pukki over Sterling or Salah or Mane or Kane. Taking out Siggy for Bernard. I think Bernard long term loses his place to Alex Iwobi. So I wouldn't do that. I'd do it as a transfer maybe. But again, sideways. I know you're getting money, but it's a sideways step. And it's like 1.4 million money in the bank, fine. But I think he loses it long term to Iwobi. Yeah, Steve, all about ownership, all about prices. Currently got Adriano Wijnaldum. Do a replacement Cantwell Edison. Yes. Edison plays all the time. Adriano play for a little bit. Wijnaldum, I don't know. Does he play? FPL wise, it's pointless. Whereas Cantel's racking up assists at the minute. So yeah, I do Edison Cantwell. As a wild card though, I wouldn't use 2 free transfers on that move. But I would on a wild card. On the verge of selling Sigurdsson for Kevin De Bruyne or King for Rashford. Sigurdsson for De Bruyne or King for... I mean, both of those transfers look really good. Right now, if you force me to say Sigurdsson for Kevin De Bruyne, and I have Kevin De Bruyne, or King for Rashford, and I have Rashford, I'd go Kevin De Bruyne. Because I feel like he's just... I talked about him pre-season, and he was in my drafts. I just didn't start... I even said right at the start, my Game Week 3 plan was going to be Barkley and Kevin De Bruyne in for Perez and Sigurdsson. That was like my before Game Week 1 plan. I even said that on the channel. I always thought if he can stay fit, Kevin De Bruyne's a 200 plus player for 9.5 million. It's mental. So I'd say Kevin De Bruyne. I was right. Dendoncker on your bench. People playing Lundstrom over Liverpool defenders is madness. You've got 7 million defenders, premium defenders, and this isn't like they're at home to some drab team that won't score. Like Sheffield United will probably concede. Edison will probably get the most clean sheets this year. I do agree with that. If Sigurdsson scores, he will go up in price. I don't think he will. Or if he does, I think he'll max out at 8 million. What's his ownership? 10%! Oh, let me leave that up. His ownership's down 10%. Oh my word. I'm sure that used to be like 16. And you know the whole like Elite 64, like all the best FPL managers are like in a league together, right? And like at the start of the season or pre-season, they all had Sigurdsson. It was crazy. And now 10%. He's actually a differential. He is an 7.9 million differential. That is madness. I mean, he's done sod all for the first 2 game weeks. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Sigurdsson should have got 2 assists in game week 1, and he should have got at least 1 last week when he crossed it to Richarlison. So I do think he's just unlucky. Everton should have gone out this summer and said, right, here's a goal scorer. Pop. That's all they needed. They needed to replace Zuma a little bit, but Mina has done really well next to Keane. Keane is one for the future, but they need to go out and be like a Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a 31-year-old experienced, goal-scoring, definitely going to score like a Higuain or something, even someone like Higuain, or just a finisher, a known finisher. That's all that they needed, and they didn't go out and get it. Points-wise, 139. You're just ahead of me there, Rusabusa. I'm 133. Awful game week 2. But like I said in my video, a lot of people had a bad game week 2. I did 3 transfers this game week. Have a look at my transfer history. First transfers. So 20th of August just. So that was Monday night just into Tuesday. So Monday night, I made that transfer. For you guys, that would be Monday about 4 p.m. I made my 3 transfers. Yeah, no problems, Luke. It is hard to pick. I would still go KDB. Rotation plays in Man City and Spurs. Too early in the season for rotation. Spurs, I don't know what it is. It's same last season. There's nothing that attracts me to Spurs. Son did last season, but everything else just ticks over. They didn't get clean sheets. Like, they didn't concede many goals, Spurs, but they'd always let one in. So the defence was always off. Kane would be the only choice as a forward, and he got injured. But I think it's too early. Without any Champions League at the minute, and you want to get to a good start in a season. And the fact that Man City and Spurs both drew against each other last week, so they've got ground to make up already, I don't think that they'll rotate. Kelly, Rico, Shaw, Matip and Dean. Should you go for Zinchenko? Is it worth it? Or for Tongan, for Matip? I would. Now Spurs, I've just ripped into Spurs defence, but 5.5 million for Vertonghen isn't that bad. You wouldn't go Wan-Bissaka, and I don't know, double United, you don't want to do it, but the problem with that defence though is I wouldn't go Zinchenko because was it the French Twitter of Man City, or was it just Man City's account tweeted out about Mendy back in training looking strong, and people doing wildcards now, they've got Zinchenko in the side. I'd be worried because I think his time is, it's numbered, unless Pep just doesn't like Mendy anymore. What do I think about Trossard? He's my differential of the week. He's my actually, I can show you. If you've not seen the video, let me add this. I'll just read out to what I got anyway. But if you're not seeing the video from my Game Week 3 preview, my avoid section was Zaha, Grealish, and Wildcard in. Player to pick is Kevin De Bruyne, Wan-Bissaka, and Harry Kane. Player to risk, Heung-min Son, because at the time of the video he had like 1.2% ownership. Martial, because at the time I think he had about 11% ownership. And Trossard, who's less than 1% ownership. So what do I think about Trossard? I think he's a great option for 6 million. As your cheap fourth starter if you're in a foreign midfielder. Or even your third man. I won't say he's a good third man, but I think he's a better option than Mason Mount. Remove Van Dijk for 1B. Gutted still keeping Robbo. But you still got one. I think one Liverpool defender is enough. That was the debate that I had. I could have had no Liverpool defenders here. Kept Perez, put I can't say his name, Sonchu, the Leicester defender, 4.5 million. That's how I get Son. Wan-Bissaka for Robertson, and I can upgrade one of my 4.5 million defenders, and that's how I can get Son in. But I don't like not having any Liverpool defenders. Which keeper would you start this game week? You got Lloris and Matt Ryan. Lloris. Easy. Both are at home, but Lloris has got Newcastle. So easily would go Hugo Lloris there. 3 transfer means I got -4. That's right, I got -4. Do I think you should be aggressive like that? The points that I made on my YouTube video about why I took a -4 hit is in the wildcard video is if you're going to wildcard next week and you take a -4 this week, it's pointless. You might as well wildcard. That -4 wasn't me being aggressive. It was actually me being a little bit passive because I'm not going to force myself. If this week's an absolute nightmare and I don't get any points and I need a real reshuffle, then I'll wildcard. But the idea of me taking a -4 hit was kind of the opposite of aggressive. It's making me postpone my wildcard. So I understand what you mean. Taking a hit isn't good, but I took the hit so I can keep my wildcard and play a little bit safe. And I had to take the hit early, or the 3 transfers I made wouldn't be possible anymore. So I know it looks aggressive taking a hit, and I'm trying to avoid it. I took so many last season; it was an absolute disgrace. But yeah, I disagree. It wasn't me being aggressive. It was me being conservative because I'm keeping my wild card. Sterling or Salah for captain. Mentioned this earlier, but I didn't verse against them, did I, Luke? Sterling or Salah. I'm saying I'm playing bookies odds. You can see it. You can look at my team. Sterling's wearing the captain armband for me. If you had to choose to get rid of someone, would it be Dean or Kyle Walker? Ooh. Kyle Walker. Because, again, being boring, wanting to make sure my 6 million defender plays, Kyle Walker should play. He should play. But Dean, if fit, is 99.5% nailed on. Kyle Walker with Cancelo signing is, 92%. Nailed on. So I'm just playing the odds. So I will go Luca Dean because he's the Everton left back. He is not getting replaced. He's so important. Kyle Walker, tomorrow you could find out that Kyle Walker drops to the bench and Cancelo's going to play his first game because that is Pep Guardiola. Thanks, Alex. No problem. I don't like asking, but if you guys leave a like and subscribe if you're new, that would be nice. I'm not putting like adverts in here, but a lot of people watch it and they say, "Oh, this is good. This is what I love." I don't get a football outlet. I don't have people in Taiwan that I'm full of. My friends are American and Canadians, and they call it soccer. I don't have people to talk to about football, so I love just being able to chat fantasy football with you guys. So I'm not I don't like asking for likes and subscriptions and stuff like that, but if you do, it does help more people come and join the conversation in the future streams. Naked Fish, I used my wildcard because I'm not confident with my team anymore. Can I take a look at it? Sure, pop it in. Just like type it in. Thanks for the sub. I've seen one there. And I also got a couple of new stuff for the channel. You can see that little logo over there flashing. Because I used to do a bit of streaming with video games and stuff, so I did have a little bit of experience with streaming and setting up things like Streamlabs. Keeping faith in Siggy. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. I'm keeping faith in him until the final whistle blows and he gets nothing against Aston Villa and he goes straight out for Anthony Martial. FPL Classico, if I had the same situation where it was rearranging funds this week and it gave me KDB and Martial, like that's what I took Wilson out, not because I wanted to, but because I had to for the money. So if I was in that situation, if you say, oh, take out Siggy and I would get KDB and Martial, then I'd have done it. But I've just delayed Martial a week. I know I'll regret it because it's at home to Crystal Palace. But there it is. I believe in Siggy. I love him. I've loved him since his first spell at Swansea. He's such a nice player. Such a good player. But that's my heart really in my head there. De Gea in the sticks or Pickford. De Gea at home to Crystal Palace, who don't look like they can hit a barn door at the minute. Thoughts about team? Rakesh, the thing I like about your team is that you've got Vardy, but I did mention this again in the video. I mentioned on Twitter, if you want to play wildcard, that's fine. We had Twitter template at the start of the season, and now we've got a wildcard template where everyone is putting in the same players, and it's basically Kevin De Bruyne, Martial, Celebos, Pookie. It's just similar. So yes, it's a good team, but those players are really highly owned. Like, who's your lowest? I'm not saying having a lot of the players or some of your players with high ownership is bad. That can actually pay off sometimes because you're covering your bases. But I'm looking and I'm thinking probably Jamie Vardy is your least owned player, and he's probably got 16% ownership. You got KDB, Mane, Sterling, Rashford, Kane, and Pookie. Who do you captain? Is Dendoncker better than Cantwell's? I think Dendoncker's better because he's in a better team, so I think they'll get better results in the season. Who do you captain out of Kane? To be honest, if I had those players, you've got Sterling. If you're not triple captaining, if I had Kane right now, I would probably maybe take the risk on captaining Kane if I felt like having an absolute smash at it. Because I think Sterling's going to do something. I think Mane's going to do something. I think Kevin De Bruyne's going to do something. And I think Kane could do something. So I don't think you can go wrong. You just know now that they're all going to blank and Kane's going to bang in 5 goals against Newcastle. Aguero-esque. So, Jonathan, that's a really difficult question. Who would I captain? If I was daring, I'd say Kane. If I was boring, I'd say Sterling. Just nailed it for you. Dropping Walker and putting King in. Good. I look forward to Man City getting a clean sheet. And King blanking tomorrow now. Steve, just for you. Can't risk Pep squad rotation. Because that's it. That's why as well I wanted to wait for a few game weeks until I knew Kevin De Bruyne was, in. Because at any moment, Pep will just say, you know what, I fancy giving Sterling a bit of a rest. Let's start 2 up front, Jesus and Aguero. And then that's it. So, feel bad not being able to talk about football. Yeah, I know. I feel bad about it as well. I'm in a small town as well, so there's just no English people. It's just Canadians, Americans, South Africans, Australians, some well, I've got a co-worker who's Scottish who doesn't like football. So my only hope of a football fan doesn't even like football. Thanks, Rakesh. Gero Pickford, who's more likely to keep leadership? Same. De Gea is more likely. Is a midfield with Mane, Sterling, KDB, Martial, and Son good? Yes, that is excellent, Rudy. That is my wild card. That's my wild card midfield right there. George says Adrian. Okay. Yes. Ryan, Button, Van Dijk, Dean, Zinchenko, Kelly, Lundstrom, Salah, Sterling, KDB, Trossard, Barnes, Pukki. Again, I'm going to say that, the Barnes Pukki forward, if I were wildcarding right now, Naked Fish, that would almost be my team. Swap Salah to Mane, and I might jiggle stuff out. But again, this is what I'm saying about wildcard templates. Mine would probably be really similar to that, and I don't like that idea right now. Head-to-head league, Rooster Booster, it's really simple. It's not done on overall points. You face off against one person in the league in a one-on-one match. And whoever gets the highest points gets 3 points. So if we look at the head-to-head league for this channel, so you can see it's just like, Premier League table. So and then it's organised by your score. So if two people have a nightmare game week and I beat you 22 points to 18 in a horrible game week, I'll still get 3 points, but I'll be low down on the table because, my goal difference. That's how it works out. Mina worth the punt. Definitely 5.5 million Everton defender if you've not got any Everton defenders. But long term, I wouldn't, because Mina's price probably won't rise, or if it does, it'll just do a little bit more. But the fact that United assets will just keep skyrocketing. I think Everton's got about 3 to 5 game weeks before it gets difficult, including game week 3. 3, 4, 5, 6. They've got 4 more games, then City, then it's easy again, then it's Spurs. So you could have Mina in your side until the end of November, which I don't think is bad. So if you're wildcarding, I think he would be a good option. You're in the Philippines. Basketball, yeah, but I think the Philippines is still quite popular. In Taiwan, it's basketball and baseball. So even with students and stuff like that, at work, I can't talk football. Will Lamella play? Don't know. So if I can't confirm it, if I can't be definite, I wouldn't choose him. Personally, I wouldn't. I mean, if he's in your team, you've got to play him. Jamal, sorry, I don't read that language. So I can't say that. That's why I say it's about I'm just being a bit more boring, a bit more conservative this year. I was too outlandish last year. So if I bring Lamella in? No. If I had him, I'd try him, but I think he could get dropped. I think he could be straight out for Son, or Son will come on after 60 minutes, or Son will come on for the last 2 minutes. You just don't know, and I don't like not knowing. Adrian, Laporte, Coleman, Sancho, Trossard. Ooh, now, George, I like that team because it's different. And, yeah, I think that's a great team. But no I'm not saying this is a problem, but no Mane or Salah. I know you got Firmino, but that would scare me every week. And I wouldn't have Stevens on my bench. I'd still stick with... And that's your problem, yeah. So Lundstrom's playing now, but once he gets dropped, you're going to have 4.1 million defenders that don't play, and you're only going to have one sub that plays. Yeah. And I wouldn't have Stevens, I'd just have Dendoncker. So you get one Chelsea fan, one Arsenal fan. Actually, I think that's fine. It's pretty good when you have that. Instead of just supporting the same team and saying the same thing, I think that would be more interesting in a conversation with other football teams' fans. Rudy, what was it? So, if I have a look, is a midfield with Mane, Salah, Sterling, KDB, Marshall and Son good? Or take out Son and have Pookie and Rashford up front? If it was for this game week, right now, Rudy, I'd have Pookie and Rashford in for Son. Right now. Because again, we're working off what we know, like for definite. Pookie and Rashford. Rashford has a bit of form, good fixtures. Pookie is in great form. Kind of a tough game against Chelsea. Should be a tough game. But we don't know if Son's going to play tomorrow. Hello, Eden. Who's watching some fantasy football on a Friday afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Hopefully your team does well. If you've not got your own team, Warren, you should have set this up. Come on, get her in the game. City double up, worth it. Laporte, Zinchenko. No, I'm put off double defences. It's like Everton's the only team that's kept 2 clean sheets. And I've mentioned about Zinchenko before. If he's in your team right now, then sure, I'd play both of them. But I would not be expecting a clean sheet. Even against Bournemouth, I don't look at teams and think, right, that is a clean sheet. Oh my God, Steve. England always have this amazing thing in sport. Doesn't matter what sport it is, but England as a nation have this amazing ability to stuff things up, to absolute bottle it. What was it they got the Aussies out for? Like 165 or something like that. Now they're all out for 66 for 9. That is disgraceful. What about Barnes? I'll answer your question with a question. What about him? Would I have him in my team? Yeah. I mentioned it before, he's like in the top 3 most clinical players of 2019. Would I have him right now, right this minute, with the couple of fixtures I've got? No. Evans. Wow, Leicester's Evans, I assume. Walker Peters will lose his place at some point to Aurier or Foyth when he's back from injury, but for now, should be fine. Campbell, KDB, Marshall, Sterling, Kane. Wow, big up top. And you've got Sterling and KDB, but no... You don't like Liverpool, do you? You have one Liverpool player in your whole team, and it's TAA. Wow. Again, I'd be worried every week. If I didn't have Mane or Salah, I'd be worried like every time Liverpool play. Is it bad that I have free hit this week to get Rashford, Kane, Dean, Rui Patricio and Mane for Pope, Robertson, Van Dijk, Salah and Wilson? Would I have free hit for that team? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did it 5 out of 11. You only swapped around 5 players. I keep a free hit if I'm having an absolute injury nightmare. And if you would have said that you were starting, you're starting Robertson and Van Dijk. Robertson will return at some point. I don't know if he's going to get against Arsenal, but Van Dijk and Robertson against Arsenal. Salah will probably get something. Wilson could get something against City. Wait. Pope is at home to Wolves, right? Why would you not think he gets a clean sheet? Personally, I want a free hit for that. No, sorry. Cantwell in the team or on the bench. Who could he be playing for? Cantwell or who? Triple defence. Triple defence in which team? Man City? Or Everton? If it's Everton, I understand it to an extent. We talked about Lamella after an Ndombele injury, different positions. Ndombele will get replaced by like Dyer or Winks or a player like that. 2 different positions. He's like a CDM, right, or a centre midfield. Really transferred to Zinchenko for ABW this game week. Can you afford that? Because AWB's gone up by 0.1 million. TAD, Zinchenko, KDB, Salah, Lanzini. I like Lanzini. I think he's going to do well this week. Martial, Dendoncker on the bench. Rashford, Wicked. Barnes on the bench? As in Ashley Barnes? At home? to Wolves. Oh, you're asking who do you bench? Sorry, that's why I was so surprised. 1, 2. We got 5 at the back. I don't want to bench TAA. I wouldn't bench TAA. Dean, Mina, Shaw, Zinchenko. I'd probably bench Zinchenko. See, with Everton, there's no point in benching one because if one bangs, both will bang. So if you put him on, for example, Mina, if Everton can keep a clean sheet, then, you know, you're going to only get half of that sort of double bang. I'd probably do Zinchenko. Thoughts on Shea Adams? He's alright. 67 all out, you're joking. Absolute stuff up. Thoughts on Shea Adams? He was in my fan team, FPL team, for a while. He plays like 70 odd minutes. He's good for his price, but I like having 11 players. So when I look at this team, these 11, I have a feeling that all of them could give me something. If Shea Adams is in my team, I'm looking at him thinking, how do I get this player out of my starting 11? If he was on my bench, but he's too expensive to be on the bench anyway, that's fine. But would I want to start with the squad that you've got? Would I want to start with Shea Adams every week in my starting 11? No. Dunk or Lundstrom? Dunk. If Lundstrom scores again, that's just mental. His price is going to be like 5 million by the end of the week. But I think Sheffield United's going to concede. I know they're supposed to have a sturdy defence, but Leicester, I think, is going to do something. KDB player of the year, Madison Young player. Far too early to call that. Far too early. Christmas is too early for that. Pep just said Cancelo's ready to play. You'd be worried if you had Zinchenko or Walker. And he made the point when he came. I don't know if he was just trying to make Walker feel a little bit more comfortable. But when he signed Cancelo, Pep said, people were like, oh, is it him versus Walker for that right back position? Are you just making it, pumping Walker up? And Pep was straight away was like, no, he can play right back or left back actually. So that made me think, well, great. I didn't, so it could be, you're right, Zinchenko or Walker. I would not be comfortable with either. Is Dean fit? Apparently so. He was training from, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? They had pictures of him in training. So, should be. You just got to spare 1 point with it. Oh, okay. So you can transfer Wan-Bissaka in. That's fine. But be careful because as soon as that United game's finished, if, they keep a clean sheet or Wan-Bissaka does something against Palace, it'll go up probably by the end of the day or the next day. I said again, I was going to play this season so conservatively, but I had to transfer early. I want to try and do them at the end of the week, but with the volatile market right now, if you sleep on it and you wait on it, you'll miss it. I knew I was going to get Kevin De Bruyne. I knew I was going to make these transfers. I was waiting and waiting. I didn't want anyone to get injured. And then, boom, Kevin De Bruyne went to 9.6. So that's why I know if Everton blank Friday night football, when I've watched it Saturday morning my time, Sigurdsson does nothing. He's out. He's gone. Straight away, Saturday morning transfer. I know it's stupid, but if I don't swap him for Martial now, I won't get him because of the market will price me out. Sigurdsson will go from 7.9, 7.8, 7.7, and Martial will go 7.8, 7.9, 8. And then I won't be able to get him. Again, Marcus, just not having Mane or Salah, just one of them, personally scares me. Rashford captain material. If you want to go out there, proper on a limb, yeah. But with Martial being the number 9 now and being more central, Rashford's getting pushed a little bit to the wing. So I think Martial has more goal threat. And saying that, Rashford had more shots, more chances against Wolves. Actually, Martial only had one and scored it. And I think he had one shot saved. Or was it one shot all game? But it wasn't great for the shot attempts. But would I captain Rashford in this game week? No. Barnes against Wolves at home or Lundstram at home for a clean sheet? No. Striker over defender, especially when it's a newly promoted side. I know a lot of people are loving Lundstram right now. If I had him, he'd probably be my captain this week after last week's stellar performance. But Ashley Barnes has scored, isn't it, 3 goals in 2 games, and he's at home to Wolves, who've just, had a difficult, well-fought 3-2 win away from home against Torino, and they played the strongest team. So, and Burnley's not a nice place. I've been there with Bolton when we played them. It's not a nice place to go to. So I would definitely start Barnes. And again, I'm just playing the odds. If this was like a bookies and I were giving you odds, if you were betting on this and you said to me, okay, he's going to get more points this week, I'd give you better odds for Lundstram. Therefore, Barnes is the better choice. Barnes getting something against Wolves or Lundstram keeping a clean sheet for 90 minutes. If Sheffield United concede in the first 10 minutes, boom, you're done. That's it. Barnes could score in the 95th minute in added time. Dean and Lundstram or Mina and Dunk? Oh, Rudy, that's a tough one. Probably I can see Mina and Dunk keeping clean sheets. But again, just like I've said, 1 minute it takes for that to be destroyed. But Luca Dean could whack in a free kick in the last minute and score. Even if Lundstram concedes with Sheffield United, Dean could be good enough for both of them. But if it's 2 clean sheets, you're looking at Mina 6, Dunk 6, which is 12. Dean gets that clean sheet as well, that's 6. Lundstram probably plays almost 90 minutes. Or he's going to get subbed, depends on if John Fleck's back from injury. But that's an 8. So if I was adding it up, Mina and Dunk's probably better if they keep a clean sheet. AJAA Patricio. That's strange. Was he 5 though, isn't he? McGinn, Salah Sterling. 3 up front. That's not too bad. Yeah, I think that's a good team. I think a lot of people are going for McGinn at Villa, and I always said, I know I've got Pook in the side now, but I think he's an exception to the rule. But I just avoid newly promoted players. Whoever said in chat that Cancelo could play left, that was me. I said that. Someone had said they'd be worried if they had Walker or Zinchenko, but it was me that said what Pep said, that he can play both sides. But you don't have to transfer that now. Oh, if you've got a wild card, it doesn't even matter, does it? But to be honest, if you're on a wild card and the choice was Wan-Bissaka at home to Palace, who just looks so far away from scoring any goals right now, or Zinchenko away to Bournemouth, then I would have gone Wan-Bissaka in the first place. You expect Greenwood to start? Over who? I don't think... again, he might start. You never know. He's my second sub, so he shouldn't be touching my team. You expect Burnley to win? I expect Burnley to win. That's why I can't believe Barnes might be left on a bench. Is it overkill with Sterling, De Bruyne and Mane? There's no such thing as overkill. You know what you say? There's too many points in my team, guys, so I'm going to take out Mane because that's too much. Or if you're just worried about the rest of the team, that's fine. I mean, I've had some ones where if you give yourself a 4.5 million 3-man defence, the rest of your team is all the big hitters. You can have Kane, Pookie, Mane, Salah, Sterling, De Bruyne, Son, if you are okay with 4.5 million defenders. So if you think, right, I'm going ultra, uber, super attacking, you can make a really good team with 4.5 million defenders. But you don't really see champions, FPL champions with 4.5 million defenders all at the back and really heavy. Well, maybe this could be the exception. This could be the difference. But that would be crazy. I'd love to see that as an experiment. If I had like a second account right now and I did a wildcard, I did like 4.5 million defenders with 4 million on the bench, and I just did a really massive attacking team, that would be crazy. Be really interested to see how that would do. You had Barker and Lundstrom my first sub. Oh wow. Yeah, because Barkley didn't play, right? So that's how that works. Thanks for subbing, by the way. Thank you. Notice I have Rico on my team. Is he nailed on start? No, he played the first week and didn't play again. Was it 1 week he only played? I think it's just the first week. Yeah, that was actually, out of all my decisions, him over Lundstrom was my... Because I knew he was going to play the first game, and then I knew he was basically... I didn't know he was going to be getting dropped after game week 1. But I knew it was going to be short term, whereas if I just got Lundstrom and stuck him on my bench and left him, he'd be there picking up points for most of the season. Or at least until I wildcarded. So I think out of all my starting... I don't regret choosing Perez to start with. I think that's still a sensible choice. I don't regret starting with Wilson and Fraser. They were against two newly promoted sides. They're good previous. They're good pre-seasons. I don't regret it. Of all of the players that I regret as a bad decision, Rico was probably it. Hey, Robert. How's your Friday going? Hold on, I missed some chat now. Trossard and Kelly or Ceballos and Dunk? Ooh. I think Ceballos is going to play. I hope he plays because he's in my team. I've just transferred him in. That wasn't just for the week in the future. Thanks for subbing, Andreas. Ceballos wasn't just because he's got Arsenal now, but he might get dropped because they want to be more defensive. So my only worry with Ceballos is he's going to get dropped. Kelly might get replaced already by Saka or Cahill. So that's it. So really the question here is sort of Trossard versus Dunk. So I'd probably go Trossard Kelly. Kelly's probably not going to get anything from United away. And, you know, if Ceballos pulls out 2 assists away to Liverpool, again, go to the bookies and say, hey, what are the odds on Ceballos getting 2 assists against Liverpool? You'll probably get good, long odds. So I'll probably do Trossard and Kelly. Lanzini or Mount? Lanzini. I think he looks good. I think West Ham don't have a lot of problems in attack. But they have problems at the back. But he plays in number 10 and he looks really good. So I'll go Lanzini for Mount. I've activated your free hit chip for this week and you're going big or going home. That's the motto I had last season, and it was my worst ever season I've ever had in my, I think this is my 10th year of FPL. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is my 10th year. Awful. 707,000. But I've never been serious. This is the first year I'm trying to do it properly. Conservative, smart, if I can. Where was I? You're confused between the two. You'd have to type it out, buddy. I can't see pictures from here. Jimenez. Again, a lot of KDB. So Devandra, KDB captain. We've covered some of the captain things. Would I captain KDB from your team? Yeah, I probably would. You don't have Salah, you don't have Sterling. Mane's your closest option for me there. Or Eriksen could be a massive differential. If he plays, because there's still talk about Eriksen leaving. But Eriksen at home to Newcastle just... sounds right. Don't you think so? As a real, like, no one is talking about Eriksen. No one is talking about Christian Eriksen right now. He's in your team. You don't have Sterling. You don't have Salah. Mane at home to Arsenal shouldn't be that easy, but he's got good stats. KDB, everyone's talking about KDB. Everyone's getting KDB. His price has gone up. It's all great. Everyone's talking about Martial and Pookie. But you look at that and you think, wow, you know what? I'm going for a real big gamble. Eriksen. I'd have to look at a press conference. Is Eriksen going to play? Did he play all of it against Man City? Let's just double check. Twice we've looked at Spurs tonight, and I said I ignore them. Yeah, 90 minutes against City, so it looks like he's staying. I don't think they'll get rid of him this late in the season. I could be wrong, but it's an absolute outlandish, unheard of, massive captain differential. Eriksen could be the way. If you're going to play it safe, I'd go KDB. Pope, Dean, Robertson, Lundstrom, Zinchenko, Cantwell, De Bruyne. I feel like I'm seeing the same teams again. Barnes, Kane up front. Kane as captain. Andreas. Yeah. But the mantra that I'm trying to push this season is don't be angry at the result. Be angry at the decision. So if I had your team with Mane, Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne and Kane, if I captain Kane and Sterling bangs and Kane doesn't, would I be angry? No, because you've not made a bad decision. I mean, if you would captain, Barnes in that team and he doesn't bang, then yeah, I think you've made a bad decision. But giving Kane the captaincy at home to a Newcastle side that got battered by Norwich, I think that is a good decision. If Sterling bangs still, I think you've still made a pretty good decision. Strong for this week, Alex. Edison, yes. Actually, for this week, Edison, no. Way to Bournemouth. You can have De Gea for cheaper. If this is a free hit team, if this is your proper team, then long-term, Edison. But just for this week, right now, Edison, I think there's keepers with easier games. Double Spurs defenders scares me because they always concede one goal. Dean, Sterling, Martial, De Bruyne, Ceballos, Rashford, Kane. Now, here's what you could do, right? You could put Edison to like a 4.5 million keeper or a 5 million keeper with a good fixture, and you could improve Ceballos because he's away to Liverpool, and that would be a great team. But I'd be worried with double Spurs at the back because I don't rate Spurs at the back. Any alternatives for Ceballos, or do you think he'll do well? I think over the season, if he plays, he looks like the real deal. On my Twitter, I posted a clip video of him just in the Burnley game, and I know it's against Burnley and it was at home, but for his price, if it's under 6 million, then yeah, because I've got nothing in the bank. I had to pull a trigger on Monday night, or I was going to miss him, so I managed to get him just before. So I think for that price, definitely. You like 3 at the back, Robert? I was 3 at the back last season. I do think it's the way I was 5 at the back or 3 at the back, not 4. I don't know why 5 seems fine to me. 3 looks great, but 4, I always just think I'd rather start the midfielder, or I'd rather put in another attacker in there. All right, thanks, Rooster Booster. I'll see you next time. Like the new logo. The logo is just a little bit different. I got it from the person who just made my banner. I got that in today. Do I think Hall would be great once it's Scott? So I think, anyone is great once they start scoring, I guess. But Haller is in one of my fan team. I've got 2 FPL teams on fan team. And he's in one of them because West Ham's fixtures look... They've got the easiest fixtures from like now to game week 12. So if he plays... a lot of West Ham fans were really bigging him up in pre-season. So Haller, yeah, I think he'll be a good, decent choice. If you can't go, if you don't want to go down to Pookie and you can't afford to go up to like Rashford, I think he's a good choice. Rio, I did the same thing as you. Wilson and Fraser are out, and I just know one of them is going to score. 10 years. First season, already addicted, 35k. Yeah, wait till you start plummeting him down to like 3 million and then you won't love it anymore. What's the news on Walker starting for City? There is no news. Pep doesn't reveal anything. And a lot of people get angry at the managers, and I don't blame them. Like, we're looking at it with our FPL glasses on, but you can't expect them to come out and be like, yeah, this is my starter. Only Leeds manager, what's it, Bielsa? He's the only one that comes out and says, right, guys, here's my starting 11 for tomorrow's game. But think about it from a manager point of view. You don't want to... What if Pep changes to 3 at the back tomorrow? He's not going to tell the world what his plan is, what his style of football is going to be. So, news on Walker, we don't know. He should start. I'm 90% positive. 86% positive that Walker's going to start tomorrow. Why not drop Salah to Mane? Because I'm not on a wild card. I'm going to take a -4 hit to go sideways. Salah, Mane, over the course of the season, they get similar-ish points. And I've already taken a -4 hit. I'm not going to take another -4 to go from Salah to Mane. So, sideways. In a wild card, definitely. 100%. I'm scared of Mane more than I'm scared of Salah right now. For a -4 hit, just for that one transfer, no. Can't consider Eriksen. I'm the same with, not so much with Lamella, but Lo Celso. Ali isn't back yet though, right? Ali's still injured. Son, Lucas Moura, and with the idea that Eriksen has publicly said like all summer, I want to leave, and didn't start the first game. I completely understand. I would worry a little bit about Eriksen. When Ali's fit, he could be worth his price. But I'm sure Dele Alli's still injured, right? I'm not got that wrong. Right, he's a doubt with a hamstring injury, but he's yet to play this season. I'd be pretty surprised if he walks into the team tomorrow. Oh, just read it. Play is clearer. Adjust the colour. Oh, you mean for the chat? For the chat box needs to be clearer. Change the font colour. If that's what you're talking about. But I don't know if that's going to work. I might have just deleted everything there. Oh well. What was it up to? Dylan, is it worth taking an 8-point hit to get De Bruyne? Oh, I think that's alright. Oh, I'll worry about that next time. Oh, cheers, Steve. Catch you next time. Would I take an 8-point hit to get De Bruyne in? When it gets to an 8-point deduction, that's when I start to get a little bit. Should I wildcard? 8 points is quite a lot. If you're gonna wildcard in the next 2 weeks, it's not worth it. If like the way I'll do it is, if I'm gonna take an 8-point hit, Kevin De Bruyne has to make up those points between now and when I'm going to wildcard. So if I'm going to wildcard next week, is it is he going to make up 8 points in 1 week? That's a huge gamble. So the way I do it is, if you could promise yourself right now you won't wildcard in a while, maybe take the hit if you definitely want KDB in right now. But 8 points is quite a big hit. In my opinion, 12 and above is a definite wildcard territory for me. But 8 points is that horrible no man's land is, am I going to take the wildcard or not? So I don't know. I wouldn't like a -8 for 1 week. I'll just do De Bruyne as my one free transfer next week. If you could do that. If it's going to take you 8 points no matter what to do Kevin De Bruyne, I'd have to bring my wild card forward. What would say? Final team. Lloris, good. Yeah, Robertson, good. Zinchenko, we've talked about him. Peters, price has gone up. Burnley, difficult fixtures. Siggy, he'll be out of my side if he does nothing tonight. Perez, I would have liked to give him one more chance, but chances are he would be out of my side soon. Salah, King, Jota, Kane. Oh, Salah and then King, Jota, Kane. I think that could be it. That's either going to be cracking. Perez and Siggy are going to bang this week. King's going to score a penalty against Man City. Jota's going to finally do something in the Premier League. Or you're going to have a tough week. I think it's going to be big old bust for you this week. What was that? Free hit. Oh, you 2 drafts. So you're looking at these 2 ones. Ryan, Maguire, Rose. Is Rose definitely going to play now? Be worried about that. That'd be my worry. Marshall, Kane, and then Dunk, Duffy. I would not go double Brighton. So straight away that second free hit draft puts me right off. Lamella might not play. Walker Peters might not play. Sterling, KDB, Marshall, Rashford, Kane, Firmino. So whilst the attack is good, I think your free hit first draft is a more rounded team. See what Pep said about Zinchenko. You reckon he will start? Marcus, don't know. I never, ever, ever guess Pep. The only thing I'm going to say is Edison will start. Laporte should start. Sterling should start. Everybody else, no idea. Even Kevin De Bruyne. FPL show was saying Mane is looking way more creative than last year. Might be worth monitoring during the game. I'm more scared. I said this earlier. I'm more scared of Mane than I am of Salah. But I'm not going to make a sideways transfer. I'll do it in my wild card. Patricio, Dean, Dunk, Lundstrom, Dendonka. Ooh, see, straight away starting with Lundstrom, Dendonka puts me off. Would I change something? I'd have to build the team to be sure, but again, Patricio maybe to a 4.5 million keeper. I mean, if you want to start Dunk and Lundstrom and Dendonka, that's fine, but your weak links there are Dunk, Lundstrom and Dendonka, and starting the week with 3 of my 11 being meh, I'd rather just downgrade one good player like Rashford down to someone, or change the formation. Don't have 3 up front. Rashford to put 4 at the back or more in midfield. But if I was starting with Dunk, Lundstrom and Dendonka in my side, that's, even though you got big hitters, that's 3 players where if you just take like a 2 million off Rashford, you could improve those other 3 players by a lot. Think Gomez will start in Liverpool defence. I actually do, but I wouldn't make any transfers about it. I mean, it's kind of well known that Klopp starts Gomez for more difficult games, and TAA got hauled off in the Community Shield. He's not good defensively. Do I think Gomez will play? I think there's a very good chance. That's why I went Robertson over. I think TAA and Robertson, if they both play the exact same minutes, TAA gets more points than Robertson. Why do I not have TAA? Because sometimes he gets dropped. You got brutalised by -1 as well, and that's exactly why I didn't want to take a -4. I saved up the true transfers. I was like, should I wildcard? No, I'm too late. I've already missed the price rises. But I had to take the hit this week. Pookie, De Bruyne, Ceballos for Perez, Wilson and Fraser. If it's like 2 points each, 2 off Perez, so Ceballos has got to get 2 more than Perez, De Bruyne's got to get 2 more than Fraser, Pookie's got to get 2 more over the course of 2 game weeks, so basically with just 1 point per person better, I had to take the hit. Wildcard team, Rudy. Mina, good. Wan-Bissaka, Ryan, good. Van Dijk, Dunk. You've got no one to rotate Dunk with. So if you've got 4 defenders, you need 2 4.5. So I've got 3 at the back, but Diop's there. So I could rotate Dunk and Diop for that last slot. You don't have anyone to rotate Dunk with. You could rotate him with Cantwell or Lundstrom. That's fine if you want to do it that way. Mane, Sterling, KD with Martial, Pukki, Rashford. Yeah, I think that's a wildcard team. Pope, TAA, Laporte, Zinchenko, Dean, Salah, Sobolos, Sterling, Cantwell, Mane, Pukki. Yeah, again, wildcard team should be good. Probably will bust in about 3 weeks. Just completed the Wan-Bissaka transfer. You'll be banging your head if Zinchenko scores. Again, it's all about, don't be angry at the result, only the decision. So if we role play, I'm a bookmaker, you come in and you say, okay, how much odds will you give me Wan-Bissaka clean sheet at home to Crystal Palace or Zinchenko away to Bournemouth? The odds would be in Wan-Bissaka's favour because his clean sheet potential in that is higher than Zinchenko's. And rotation. Who's going to replace AWB at right back? He's not. He's 99.5% nailed on. Zinchenko is, what, 70% nailed on now? Could be Angelino, could be Cancelo. And Bournemouth are no easy team to beat at Bournemouth. At home, Fraser and Wilson, even other Wilson, Harry Wilson, will be looking to add to his goal from last week. So I think I'd go with that. Rashford or Martial? I answered this earlier. Martial, cheaper midfielder who plays as Manchester United's number 9. So that game week 5 is that for Liverpool and City? Why not put Spurs players? Because they're just bland. Like, there's no other way I can really think about Spurs players. They're just meh. Like, Kane is the big one. When he's fit, he gets the points. He's missed a big shot. Son, if he doesn't get rotated out or whatever, then yeah, he can be Mr. Big Stuff. But everyone else is just so... like, Eriksen, if he plays, could do something, but for his price point, other people are a lot better than him. At the back, yeah, they don't concede a lot of goals, but they'll probably beat Newcastle 3-1 or 4-1 or 2-1. So they're just annoying. So that's why there's no Spurs players. With Ndombele out, I don't know. He's had a decent start. Could be something. What are we going to do with Jota? Kai, we're going to wait to see what he does this weekend, and then I'm going to do nothing about him because I need to get probably rid of Sigurdsson. Even now, if Sigurdsson bags a hat-trick against Aston Villa, I'll keep him for a day or two and then swap him for Martial because long-term, I think Martial... I've got nothing in the bank. So there's nothing I can do with Jota. I can go to other 6.5 million defenders or go 4.5 million forward, play one up front and improve a defender or midfielder. So at the minute, Jota's just going to have to tick along, stop getting subbed off for like Coutron or Neto, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. He's my hole in the team. Even Seblos, I'm looking at this. Even Seblos right now, I have more faith in Jota. We'll see. Oh, I thought Burnley... I've just realised Burnley are at Wolves. I take that back, but I would still start Barnes. Patricio almost stopped the penalty yesterday. He looked sharp. Robert, I thought Patricio in pre-season was absolutely fantastic. He looked incredible. I think he's a fantastic keeper. He's just at that horrible... Is it 5 million? And it's 4.5 or 6. Or maybe 5.5 with like Pickford, De Gea, Lloris. I know he's only 0.5, but 0.5 is so much. But Patricio, I think he is great. I've actually just realised, is he like the highest scoring goalkeeper? He is the highest scoring goalkeeper. That's crazy. He's only 4 points ahead of 4.6 Ryan now, though. But he does look good. He looked really good in pre-season. Last season, you stubbornly kept Mana instead of Salah all season. This season, I plan to stick with Salah. Stupid decision? No, I don't think it's a stupid decision. I did the same thing. I started with Salah, went to Mane. I had Mane, he was great when I had him, and every time I had Salah, he didn't do anything. But I had Mane more than Salah last season. Of course, it wasn't a good season for me, but I don't regret it. I think if you have one of the two, it's fine. I'm not sure if I therefore start Gomez or Lundstrom. That's why I asked about Gomez. I don't know if would Gomez come on as a sub? Possibly. If it's 1-0 Liverpool with 10 minutes left, Gomez will come on for a point, and that'll be really annoying. Or Gomez starts, maybe doesn't keep a clean sheet, that'll be annoying. So that's really tough. Most surprising team this season, it's 2 games. I can't say, George. It's 2 games. I don't know who the most surprising team is. I'll tell you, the biggest disappointment was Bournemouth. I think we can all agree on this one. How many of us had Fraser and Wilson and King in our teams? And look what they've done to us. Upset us, that's what they've done. How many points am I on? 133. Wolves have some okay fixtures. Well, they've got Burnley, if we have a look. Everton away isn't a good fixture. Chelsea at home, they're like the big boys. Chelsea looking shaky. Palace away. Palace look dreadful right now. Watford at home, that's goals there. City away, blur. Southampton at home, Newcastle away. So I agree. I think Everton away, Man City away. So 2 out of 7 games is I agree. My biggest worry about Jota is this whole Cutrone. Is it Neto? Let me just double check the midfielder. Yeah, Neto. Nobody owns him. That's crazy. Well, he's only played 4 minutes, and he's too expensive, but still. And Cutrone, that worries me because there's a lot of rotation going on there, and I don't like it. That's what worries me. That actually worries me more than in blanking, because if a player plays, I've always got that chance. But yeah, I'm worried about it. Jota, Jimenez or Pookie? Who's the best option? Right now, Pookie. You can't look past him. Or should I save King not to spend 4 points? Ooh. And your other striker is Wilson, so you're double Bournemouth strikers right now? Ask yourself 2 questions. 1, when are you going to wildcard? 2, does your replacement earn those 4 points back? So plus 4 points compared to King. So if you take out King and put in Pookie, and you say you wildcard in 2 weeks, does Pookie earn at least 5 points more than King in those 2 game weeks? Then it's worth it. Mason Mount, an option. Yeah, is an option. Done 2 90-minute games for Chelsea. Scored in the last game. Chelsea's got a couple of good fixtures. So, yeah. Other than Mount, are there any Chelseas that could be good in the future? I miss Hazard. I miss Hazard too. I had him like all season. I did have him all out. Even thick and thin, Hazard was my boy. And he's gone. He was my only Chelsea option. Are there any other Chelsea options? A lot of people like Emerson, 5.5, but could at any point get replaced for a game by Alonso. Aspilicueta is like Mr. Consistent in FPL. He just does get like 180 points a season. So maybe look back more than forward. Because in attack right now, I don't know if he knows it. I mean, Batshuayi could start up front tomorrow instead of Abraham or Giroud, and then a lot of people are going to be even more confused about Chelsea's attacking starting lineup. You think? Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Gomez could come on a sub, so starting Lundstram. Because Lundstram will start, but he could go off after 60 minutes. So if you can get past that 60-minute mark, you'll be sorted. But I still think Sheffield United is going to score, so going to concede. Jimenez looked good in Europa League qualifier, wondering when he fires. That's what I feel right now about Diego Jota. Last 4 games, Liverpool, Arsenal, 5-1, 1-1, 3-3, 4-0. Ah, yeah, I think there'll be goals. Yeah, I think there'll be goals. But I think Liverpool concede, but Robertson gets an attack in return. Or Van Dijk or TAA, if TAA plays. Because you've got people joking about Arsenal's formation, right? They're gonna start like 2 at the back, play like a 2-6-4 or something stupid, or 2-6-3 or something. They've got so many attacking players, no one really at the back. So I think there are going to be a lot of goals there. Thanks, one and only Smith. Thank you very much. I made you think Lundstram, Dunk or Cantwell to start. Best to start midfield or defenders. Depends on fixtures, depends on form. Cantwell's got Chelsea, but he's in good form. Dunk's got Southampton, but you're looking at clean sheets. Lundstram is playing in midfield and he had a great week last week. He should start again. So I think it's really difficult. Because remember, Lundstram looks like a defender on FPL, but he does play midfield. But if they concede, which I think they will, he'll get penalised as a defender, not a midfielder. So Lundstram will have to get an attack in return, because I think they'll concede. He probably won't. I looked at his stats after he scored, and everyone's getting him in and saying, we love Lundstram, he's a hero, he's a god of FPL, everyone signed him up, look, 4 to 4.1 million now, he's amazing. And I had a look at his entire career stats for goals, and I think he's been at Sheffield United for 3 years, and he scored 4 goals in 3 years. But then when you look at his entire career, including his youth England under 17s and stuff like that, it's not people are just making out like he's playing as a number 10 or something. It's crazy. So honestly, Rudy, if I was going to do those 3, maybe Cantwell, because he is, I think, is he right wing or left wing right now? And with the form that he and Pookie are in, but those 3 are not beautiful options. You're asking me to find a diamond in the mud there. I would probably start Cantwell or Dunk or Lundstram. It's difficult. FPL is difficult. These are the choices that matter. Thoughts about Trossard? I said it earlier, Michael. I think he's a really good option. 6 million, great price. He was the most advanced player for Brighton. How come I don't have Lundstram? Because I went with Rico, because I knew Rico would start the season. I just didn't think he'd lose his place in one game week. But we didn't think Lundstram... Honestly, with people, I listened to Sheffield United fans, they really didn't think he was going to start. And then it started Besic as well. Really didn't think he was going to keep his place. And I actually said earlier, he was my big mistake. But I wouldn't... Honestly, if I had Lundstram in my team, he would still be a sub. So was it 14 points he got last week? He wouldn't have got them for me. I'd have been sat here, like many people out there, looking at his points, sat on the bench, because he'd be my 3rd or 2nd sub. So I wouldn't start him. Chelsea, yeah, I said Chelsea fixtures look really good. West Ham, I think it's West Ham then Chelsea on the fixture ticker. Almost an Aspie during game week 1. Change your mind. I had a look at him as well in my wildcard team, Aspie. He ticks over, but the first 2 games are too difficult. Emerson nailed on, I'll start Alonso to get Gator. Exactly, Christian. This is why I don't have Emerson in my team. He looks attacking, he looks exciting, even when Manchester United battered them. I take that back. Manchester United didn't batter Chelsea in that first game. I thought Chelsea at times played much better football. But Emerson at any moment could, for 1 week, annoyingly, get swapped out for Alonso. So that's why he's not in my team. I said I hate it. The worst thing is having your 11 that you're so sure is going to play, and then they don't, and then you're in your second, you get down to your second or third sub. That's when you're not, it's not right. Aspinall's had 3 attempted assists already, all shots on target. That's what I mean. He's honestly, I think he's the most consistent player in FPL because he just ticks over and ticks over every season. Was it 2 or 3 seasons ago when Chelsea had it was just after the last time they won the Premier League, and the season after they were like bottom 5 for like the first 5 games. I can't remember, was it 3 or 4 years ago, something like that? Was it this season Leicester won the title 4 seasons ago? But Aspilicueta still rocked up at the end of the season with like 150 points. Let's have a look. He's top now, alphabetical order, but he's still top. Look at his history. 158, 175. Alright, so I blew it up a bit. It's not 180. That's too high. But he ticks over. If he gets over 3,000 minutes, he'll get you, 170 plus. I think this season will be about 150, which isn't great. But he gets the assists. And you have to remember as well, he's been playing centre-back. He's back to being right-back now. If he was 5.5 million, he would be so in my team. Cantwell's left wing. I knew he was playing wing. The thing with Cantwell as well, maybe I've been thinking too long term, but it's the former Leeds man. Who is it? Is it former? I think he's... No? Anyways, this guy. He was the original winger and he got injured, and then that's why Cantwell's starting. So it's just that long-term worry. But I'm thinking too long-term that he's the original winger. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I thought that he wasn't first choice, somebody else was. But I have a friend who's a Norwich fan, and he told me that the manager is not scared to stick with players in form at Norwich. So if Cantwell keeps it up, he will keep his place. One of those 3 job punt for the game week. What, Lundstram, Duncan, Cantwell? Blimey, if that's your punt, that's scary. I don't know. So many people are going to play Lundstram this week because he scored 1 goal and got 1 clean sheet. 1 clean sheet and 1 great game week, and now people think he's the Messiah. The thing for me is Lundstram's a CDM, Dunk's a centre back, Cantwell's left wing. So I'd have to go for left wing. What do you think about taking Salah out for Kane and next week putting back Salah for a -4? No. You have to... This is what I was talking about earlier. When you make a hit, you need to think, will X player make up those points? So you're already committed to just 1 game. I say the wild card. So I took a -4 hit, and those 3 players I brought in must get 4 points back for me, plus profit, so 5 points back for me. 6 points to make it worth it. There's 3 of them. 2 points each before I wildcard in 2+ weeks. So do I think De Bruyne will get, on average, 2 points more over 3 game weeks than Ryan Fraser? Yes, he's worth it. Pookie over Wilson, it's close. Ceballos over Perez, it's close. But I feel that is it. If you're committed to a -4, you're saying that Kane must score minimum 4 more, so 5 points more than Salah. Do you think he's going to get 5 points more than Salah game week to make it worth it? And you're taking up your free transfer for next week already. So if you get an injury or anything like that, it's not a -4 to bring it back, it's a -8. So I wouldn't do that. I'd love Kane in my side. Most of us would. But would I take a -4 to put him in and then take him out next week and use up my free transfer already, and then someone gets injured or someone catches the eye this game week? I personally wouldn't do it. a fit Callum Hudson-Odoi. What do I think? No. I need at least 2 to 4 game weeks before I make a decision on that, because you've got Willian, Pedro, Barkley's played wide, Mount's played wide. Too many options. Would I pick Laporte or Van Dijk this week? Laporte. As much as I think Bournemouth, I have a gut feeling, but I think both of them will concede. But I do think Bournemouth's going to nick 1 goal, and that's going to take everyone's clean sheet out. So honestly, I think it doesn't matter which one you play. I would prefer Van Dijk over Laporte, but I think both teams will concede. Ryan, good. Wan-Bissaka, good. TAA, good. Laporte, good. Alderweireld, good. Is it Alderweireld or is it Vertonghen who's more nailed on? It's Alderweireld, right? Dean, good. De Bruyne, good. Sterling, good. Marshall, good. Mane, good. Pukki, good. 1 up front, so you're going to have 2 4.5 million. That's fine. I personally don't like playing 1 up front with a 6.7 million forward. If he gets injured, your subs won't come on. That's why I could easily kick out Jota, play 4 at the back with Van Dijk over Jota. That's great. That's fantastic. But Pukki gets injured, or Pukki doesn't play, or whatever, my 4.5 million forwards will earn me nothing, and I'm playing with 10 men. So I personally don't like a 1 up front because it's just too risky. If he gets injured in the warm-up, you're starting the game week with 10 men. What about Wesley? I need a cheap attack player that can return. Any other suggestions? So you're looking for 6 million. I'd rather go more pay. I'd go more pay over Wesley. Chicharito did score. I think he'll be dropped again. Maybe a punt on Chicharito, but I think Holler will come back in. Sharp didn't play. Ings started the first game, didn't start the second. They are away to Brighton, but Ings for 6 million. More pay it's difficult. It's for a forward. It's really difficult. I don't know. I won't go Wesley. But Wesley's got more minutes. So if you want to play it really safe, he's got a home game, but he's against currently the best defence in the league. So that's difficult. Mason Mount or Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Mason Mount. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, FPL-wise, is a waste of space. Salah and Rashford instead of De Bruyne and Mane then? That's difficult. I mean, if you've got a wild card, if this is for this game week, that's really difficult. Rashford's got Palace. Salah and Mane are almost the same. So you've got De Bruyne at Bournemouth or Rashford at home to Palace. I think they're almost the same. If this was a long-term team decision, I would be De Bruyne and Mane. Pope good, Dean good, Laporte good, Wan-Bissaka good, Salah good, Sterling good, De Bruyne good. Sterling is captain, yep, same as me. Ceballos, Marshall, Pukki, Barnes. That is, Ian, that's a great team. That's pretty much almost my wildcard team there. I just don't have Laporte. I have, I think I must have Robertson at that point. Plan moving forward, assuming no injuries. So first, Robert, use a wild card. Long term, De Bruyne, Mane. I don't know. Honestly, I think both of them are good. Honestly, I think over the course of the season, De Bruyne, Mane takes it. I would be more scared not having De Bruyne. I make my decisions based on how scared I am. And if I don't have De Bruyne or I don't have Salah and Rashford, I'm more scared not having De Bruyne and Mane. But Barnes goes through game week 5. That's what I'm hoping for, Kai. If I can take out Jota for Barnes, I'd love it. but Barnes has already gone up to 0.6. So my plans moving forward, that's why I was looking at my phone, because I had a wildcard plan. So it was going to be Dunk, so Ryan Button still, Dunk, Lundstram, Dean, Van Dijk, Diop, De Bruyne, Mane, Son, Sterling, Ceballos, Pukki, Jota. But I could wiggle that around. Chances are, if I can deal with no Liverpool defence and go Aspilicueta instead of Van Dijk, I can improve Jota to Pukki or 7 million, or Keane. Moise Keane if he holds down a place with Everton. Fear of missing out. Yeah, I mentioned that in my wild card. It's the problem of... But fear of missing out is when other people are getting it and you don't. But mine's just well-rounded fear. That's why you asked about Laporte over Van Dijk, because I started with Van Dijk and Robbo, but ditched till Alisson is back. What it's like with, if you've got a double defence, so say you've got 2 Liverpool and 0 City, it's like if Liverpool keep a clean sheet, you've doubled your money, you've hit the jackpot, and if Man City don't, it's a double win. But for me, if you have 1 City and 1 Liverpool, you're splitting your bets, so both of them have high clean sheet potential over the course of a season, and if one fail, the chances of them both failing, everyone concedes goals, that's fine. But the chances of both of them conceding goals in an okay game week is quite rare. So you just ask yourself, Ian, do you double up on one team and double your bet, or do you split it? Personally, if I had the choice between Laporte, Van Dijk, or Van Dijk plus Robbo, or Laporte Robbo, I'd probably split my bet, and I'd rather have 1 from each team than 2 from one. Should you take out Martial to have a second forward like Barnes? No, I wouldn't take out Martial. Do a dummy draft on screen so you can visualise it. Double wild card. You hate your life and get 30 points. Alpha. I feel that pain. Last season, I think my lowest score last season was something like 25 points. It was just the saddest week. So the team that I was going to wildcard to originally looked... So it'd be 3 at the back still, with my 4.5s rotating. My money's going to be off now, though, because of price changes. But let me just whip in what I had. Liverpool, Mane. So now I'm 0.2 off because of price changes. It was available. So Nenad and Ian, thanks for subscribing as well, by the way. Thanks a lot. So I'm 0.2 off now. And it's... I know this is going to sound stupid, but there's no point in me going Lundstram to a 4 million defender like Kelly, because I'm still going to be 0.1, so someone still has to go. So I might as well keep Lundstram for that 0.1. And I have to take a 0.5 hit somewhere. So the point I could either... So this is what I was saying about having one up front, right? So let's put Wickham up there. Where are we going? Crystal Palace. So you don't want to put a United forward up here, actually, if you want to get more Manchester assets in the future, because you're going to block yourself. But Gameweek 112 points, then you're perfectly in still a really good position there, Alpha. City's defence shut down towards the end of last season when they were both smashing teams. True. I wouldn't drop Jota down to a 6 million, because then every week I'm going to be looking at that 6 million player going, yeah, I don't really want anything. I don't think he's going to get anything. Mark, see, if you're about Bolton, they've been take over tomorrow for the last like 5 months. but we'll just leave them in right now. So I could upgrade a defender now and do 4-5-1. So rotating. So he would be swapped for Wan-Bissaka because of the money here. For Wan-Bissaka. And then a 0.1 off, but I could get something like Trossard in. But I like Ceballos. So this would be like a real quick 4-5-1. So Wan-Bissaka, Dean, Van Dijk will play every game. And then Diop and Dunk will rotate. So you've already got a bit of depth because one defender is going to play in this situation. 5 in midfield and 1 up front. I don't feel comfortable with this because if Pookie starts blanking, take him out. I've got 7 million. That's it for one forward. So that's why I don't like 4-5-1. A lot of people say 5 at the back is really, it's not flexible at all. But I actually find that 1 up front is the most unflexible. Unless you've got like Vardy here and you can split the money. Wan-Bissaka's gone up as well, so it's just an absolute nightmare. Let me just check on the chat. Pope over Ryan as Burnley tend to defend better. Yep, I agree. Pope over Ryan, but if I was wildcarding, I would put Pope in. Sorry, that is a change I would actually make. Jimmy said in press conference, yeah, they said it every week, every day, every time I see it online. Tomorrow we're getting taken over. Thoughts on Bernardo Silva? I saw him get Martial. I think that was a good move. It doesn't even look like Bilva is safe from Pep Roulette anymore. AWB, Ryan, good, Tier, good, Laporte. Again, Rob, if it's a wild card, I'd probably put in Pope. But I mean, he's got Liverpool next, and Ryan's 4.6, so if you've already got Ryan, I'd keep him. And then swap it out later in the future. But I don't like making goalkeeper transfers. Although Dean, De Bruyne, so yeah, again, 1 up front. Who do you get rid of to bring another forward? 1 of your defenders. I can't say his name. Alderweireld, the Spurs defender. So then play AWB, TAA, Laporte, Dean. Yeah, so you still got 4. So you're going for 5 at the back. Well, that depends on your tactics then. What defender you want the most? See, that's it. I just want to keep hold of a Liverpool defender. I don't really want a defender. But this is close to a decent team. If I wanted to, I'd have to, take Ceballos down, which I don't want to do. But say you put Kante in there, you can upgrade Jota as well. Apparently he's injured, but let's say he's fully fit, and then you've got 0.4 to play with, and you can make a change up front if you need to. Barnes. Should put Barnes in there for now. So if I was going to wildcard it, it looks something like this. But the crazy one that we were talking about earlier is if that you could deal with like 4.5 million defenders, or just one. So take out the Liverpool defence and put in the Leicester defender, and you play it this way. Got 2.3 million. So up front, you're just shy of Vardy. You could do 1 up front, take out Pookie, and then do like Kane up front. I think that's right. Depends if the prices have changed. Yep, Kane. So 1 up front, and then if you need to save up 2 transfers, then you can split it again and have 2 forwards instead of 1. But that's with still you got Luka Dean, so you've got 1 good defender out of 3. Kante's not obviously the best, but Kante will be rotation. So Dunk, Dean, Soyuncu, and Diop. That's 4. If you play 3 at the back, that's fine. But if there's a popular game week for Diop or Dunk, they come in for Kante. Could do it that way. But if you have a look, it's really attacking. Or you don't want Kane, you want Salah. You can put Salah in there and have 2 cheaper forwards. Or Firmino instead of Kane, and you have more money as well. But Rob, we talked about Zinchenko earlier. I think it's a matter of time before he gets dropped. Thoughts on Everton double defence? Fine for now. Great fixtures. best defence so far. Would I do it right now? No, I'd have started the season with it. But if I'm wildcarding, would I do it right now? Mina and Dean as in a defence, I probably would. Points prediction. I'll tell you that right now. My points prediction for this game week is not correct because that's not my team. I don't know why that hasn't updated. Unos momentos. Who did I bring in? I brought in Kevin De Bruyne. I brought in Pookie. You're not going to get great stats for Pookie though, because the computer isn't going to like... Oh, maybe it has, but... It's not going to be big. And syllabus. My points prediction this week is 56.65. It's my points prediction. I always think that if you can beat the average, that's the aim of the game, right? But if personally, I think higher than 60 is a good score. I'm happy if I get higher than 60. I mean, if the average is 75, then I'm not happy. But I believe 60 for each game week for the entire season will get you top 50k or top 100k. If you can get 60 points plus every single game week for 38 game weeks, I think it's 50k. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. He is injury prone, but my point is, like, I can go from Kane, anyone, down. I wouldn't go up to Aguero. I think he's going to get rotated out. So if Kane gets injured, fine. But I can just drop. I can drop to Firmino. I can drop to Vardy. I can drop to Wilson. I can go sideways to Aubameyang. There's an out. If your one forward is 6.7 million Pookie and you want to get him out, he's a goal drought. It's a sod all for 5 games. You've got nowhere to go with Pookie. Do you have any change in mind that you're going to in the next few weeks? Yeah, I've already said if Sigurdsson does nothing, or I think unless Sigurdsson absolutely blows my socks off against Aston Villa, he's going to be out for Martial. He's playing up front. He's out of position at Manchester United. Really difficult to ignore. And I'm not excited by him. I'm not excited by United, but I just can't ignore the most forward attacking player at Manchester United. I just can't. Fantasy football, no, Fantasy Football Scout. I'm using that. What overall am I aiming for this season, Michael? I would just like to be comfortable inside the top 100k. Ideally, top 50k. Because, like I said before, I make content and I do stuff for the content and not for me as an FPL manager. This season, I'm trying to do it properly. I don't want to say serious because I'm still doing it for fun. I'll still take risks. But this is a season where I want to say, like, guys, I'm making FPL stuff. I want to talk about football. This is great. But I also, if I have advice, I want to have a rank to, back it up. I can't sit here, overall rank 1.8 million and be like, oh, yeah, you should do this because you're on, 48,000 overall. I'm on 1.9 million now this game week. I'm not now, but you get my point. So top 50k, I'll be really happy. Top 100k, that's my aim. But I want to be top 50k. But it's so, there's 6.3 million people playing this game. So top 100k is great. Top 100. Ryan, Pope and Adrian, the only good 4.5 million keepers. Right now, yeah, I wouldn't go Heaton. Are you going to rotate? I was in for rotating, but I like to limit my decisions to just sort of one thing. And adding goalkeeper rotation is like, so for example, Pope has Wolves and Ryan has Southampton. If I had those two keepers, I'd probably still go Ryan, but I'd have this headache of who to select. With Ryan and Button, I don't have that headache. I don't have a rotation. Ryan is in between the sticks for me, week in, week out, come rain or sun. And it just takes a decision away. I know that sounds silly, but I just don't like that rotation idea. And if you put Adrian in your team now, you are committed to taking him out. You are committed to taking one transfer, one precious free transfer you have to take a goalkeeper out. So I'd rather just not have him and go Pope or Ryan. Good point about Kane. Thank you. Walker up Zinchenko to drop in Pep rotations. Alpha, flip a coin. Heads, Walker, tails, Zinchenko. That's Pep rotation. Walker's equally at risk. Maybe Walker slightly more. Again, I don't know. Flick a coin. Is 500k good right now? Rank right now is like nothing. Well, I won't say nothing. I mean, if you're sat in like, 6 million out of 6.3, you've had a bad start. But rank right now, there's like I'm 438,000 right now. There's like 5 points between me and 250k. It's just 2 game weeks. As long as you're not last, you're fine. Got heat and we're switching from -4. No, it's not. Like, Heaton to Ryan or Pope. And you, remember, like I said, Michael, you need to say, if you make that decision, Pope or Ryan must earn more than 4 points more than Heaton this game week. And that's a big risk for a goalkeeper. I think number 1 in the overall ranking is Egyptian. Oh, that's pretty good. So, but he's already used his wildcard. But again, if you've used a chip or you've used a wildcard and it's paid off, then it's worth it. Yeah, Ryan went up 4.6. We're on Fantasy Football Scout. Did you get your predicted score? I'm looking on my members section and can't see the option. Yeah. Go on the members area, and then on the left side, click on Rate My Team, and then click on Build My Team, and then you type in Build My Team, either type in your ID or manually click Add Player, and it'll give you a 5-week projection. So over the 5 weeks, my team on the computer should get me 339 points. Of course, it tells you the players. So it's telling me this week, bench Celebos, start Greenwood for 1 point. I'm not going to do that. Celebos is supposed to earn 2.24 points. Greenwood is supposed to earn 1.1. So I don't know why it's suggesting to play Celebos. So it says 56 overall for this game week, or 57 if I round it up. Actually, it should be like 59 because Celebos has more points. See, what it is, I think we just forget, Robert, like the start of the season is mental for prices. It is crazy. We just forget how ridiculous it is. But I think what makes it crazy this year is who has gone up. Like Ryan going up 0.1 million. Lundstrom had one great. He's gone up 0.1 million. Peter's going up 0.1 million is so nonsensical. He had an amazing game week 1. He got 1 point against Arsenal, and then this is the game week everyone transfers him in. It doesn't make any sense. Last year the game finished with 6.3 million players. Finished. That doesn't count in for sign up. But a lot of people were late. It looked like there was like 4 million players, and then just before game week 1, boom, everyone joined. Yeah, the game's going to get interesting when we get to game week. Yeah, 7 or 8 is when it starts to split. Now, halfway through the season, it's wide open. VVD Robbo to Maguire ADD for a hit. No, I won't take it. I know it looks better, but if you're taking it, again, calculate whether you think Maguire and Wan-Bissaka will earn at least 4 points more than VVD and Robbo in this game week. So if you think United clean sheet, Liverpool do nothing, that's 12 points for AWD and Maguire, that's 4 points for Van Dijk Robbo, you're correct. But do you think that's going to happen? Keepers, 4.5 keepers should hardly move. Who's making these transfers? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. It's been just over 2 hours, so thank you very much. That's a good point, Rob. People dropping out as well. Why isn't there a ladies FPL? I don't know. You'd have to ask the official FPL people. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Remember, it is an early deadline, Friday night football. You've got 10, 11, 12, 1, 2... Oh, wait, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. You've got 3.5 hours just over, so 3.5 hours from now. Don't leave it too late because the servers will crash just before deadline, so lock your teams in now. Or in the next hour because servers on FPL start to freeze, especially on the phone. I don't do any transfer activity on my phone. I do everything on desktop computer or on a laptop. So make sure you get that sorted now, guys. Friday night football. Thanks for the stream. It's great to just come in and chat football, guys. This is just what I want to do. I'm back at work because summer vacation is finished. Back at work next week, so I'm still hoping to keep Friday night a thing. Friday night for me, Friday afternoon for you. I think I like doing it Friday because Thursday you've still got another day of work and I won't be able to stay awake as late, but on a Friday I'll do it. So I'm hoping to keep this Friday thing. Hopefully it's great. But thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I do. I just love talking football and this is my outlet for the week. So good luck in this game week. And hopefully catch you all in the next video, which should be out Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the stream will be out on Friday. So, and don't forget, maybe leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and follow me on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter, always reply on Twitter, and post my thoughts and ideas and things for FPL on there as well. Sometimes put some stats on there, so Twitter's a good way to catch me as well. Things change over the Friday as well. Exactly, because tomorrow's the football. Thanks a lot, guys. As always, have a good one.